Good morning, everybody. Oh, let's try that again. Good morning, everybody. Morning. So before Ida welcomes us from the virtual campus from her home in Elk Grove, we have Robert on our virtual campus with an invitation for all of us for next week. Take it away, Robert.
Hello, my name is Robert Mitchell. I'm a member of the Adult Religious Exploration Team at the UU Church of Fresno. And I want to tell you about a special event that's going to take place on Sunday, September the 25th at noon in the sanctuary. Our guest that day will be Charles Radke. Charles has grown up in Fresno. He still lives in Fresno. He's also a writer. He's written fiction, nonfiction, and essays that have appeared in many different literary magazines. And on Sunday the 25th, he's going to be our guest, and he's going to read from a book that he has recently written called Stuccoville, Life Without a Net. And in this book, he writes about what it was like to grow up in Fresno, his life with his mother, his father, his development as a man. And so on the 25th, he's going to join us. He will read portions of his memoir, and then we will have a chance to discuss the book, our responses. We'll also have a chance to ask him questions about the writing of his memoir. So please put that on your calendar. He will have copies of the book for purchase, and he'll be able to sign copies for you. So please join us on September the 25th. It'll be in the sanctuary at 12 noon, right after the worship service. So please register and join us for that day. Thanks.
Hola, buenos dias. Mi nombre es Ida Jones. Good morning. My name is Ida Jones, and I serve gratefully as a member of the worship arts team. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Bienvenidos a la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno, California. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. Welcome to everyone on our virtual church campus. And welcome to everyone on our Alluvial Church campus. Welcome to everyone watching the service later on YouTube or Facebook. We are one congregation in many places. Somos una congregación en muchos lugares. Our monthly worship team for September is belonging. And today we will explore how claiming our individual and collective power creates a beloved community infused with a deep sense of belonging. We acknowledge that our Alluvial Avenue Church campus sits within the traditional homelands of the Yokits people. For many indigenous people in our community, this land is the center of their universe, a place of innumerable and irreplaceable cultural, spiritual, and traditional connections. We honor these past, present, and future stewards of this land. As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome you no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, or religious beliefs. We welcome you no matter your disabilities, the amount of money in your bank account, your level of education, or your neurodiversity. We welcome you if you are lesbian, gay, bi, trans, non-binary, or gender fluid. You are welcome with or without documentation. We welcome you if you believe all persons should have bodily autonomy and that no elected official or appointed judge should make decisions that belong between a person and their healthcare provider. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. If you are on our virtual campus, we want to make sure everyone can share in your joy, sorrow, gratitude, or concern. Type these now in the chat box. Yes, This is the moment to type your joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude. And we'll write them down and give them to Tim so he can include them later in the service. If you don't do it now in the chat box, we won't have time to include them. Howard Thurman, an African-American preacher who in 1944 co-founded San Francisco's Church for the Fellowship of All Peoples, the first integrated interfaith religious congregation in the United States, stated, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and go do that, because what the world needs is more people who have come alive." Now, let us come alive as we, in the chat box, in person, or in the silence of your heart, take a moment to say Buenos dias and greet one another.
Buenos dias. Mi nombre es Timoteo, and my pronouns are he, him, his. As we prepare to share this sacred time together, let's allow the sound of the tingsha to carry us to that place within that knows we are all interconnected, interdependent. We are all one.
You can say that you stand apart, put a fence around your yard. You can build a tall rampart and guard it with a gun. You can dig yourself a moat, burn the bridge and burn the boat. It won't matter that much, you know, 'cause all the world is one. All the world is one. You can march in a big parade every Independence Day. You can raise up your own flag and sing your own anthem. It will ring out in the air with all the other anthems there, till the winds of the earth declare all the world is one. All the world is one. Go and ask the Buddha when he's sitting under the tree. Go ask Walt Whitman when he's looking out at the sea. Ask Alan Shepard when he's standing up on the moon, staring at that pearl of blue. Ask an atom in the breath you take. Ask the water by the riverbank. Ask a strand of DNA, it's written in your blood. One life running in your veins, one light from one big bang. You can try and separate it, but all the world is one. All the world is one. Go and ask the Buddha when he's sitting under the tree. Ask Annie Dillard when she's up on Tinker Creek. Ask Alan Shepard when he's standing up on the moon, staring at that pearl of blue. You can take an outbound train, try and make a getaway. You can ride off like John Wayne into the setting sun. But earthlings don't leave town, they just go round and round until they figure out all the world is one. All the world is one. All the world is one.
Good morning and buenos dias to both those on our physical campus here on Alluvial Avenue and those joining us on our virtual campus online. What a gift to be one congregation in many places, and what a gift to finally be back in person with you all this morning. My first time since 2019, I think. Thank you. Mi nombre es Emily Kaisinga. My name is Emily Kaisinga, and I use she, her pronouns. I serve gratefully as a member of the worship arts team. We will share in the lighting of our chalice in just a moment, so those of you at home may want to bring a candle or a chalice close by. For those of you who don't know, I am the very tired mother of a 3-year-old, Abby, and a new addition, a 4-month-old named Miles, who are watching at home. So hi, Abby and Miles. I spend a lot of my time these days entertaining children, and reading is one of our favorite pastimes. I'm constantly amazed at how important and deep messages can be so simply and beautifully conveyed through children's literature. When Tim and I discussed the topic of today's sermon, The Deep Power of Being, one of our family's favorite books immediately came to mind, and I'd like to invite us into today's worship with an abridged reading of Speak Up, written by Miranda Paul and illustrated by Ebony Glenn. Put on my best teacher here. There are times we should be quiet. There are days for letting go. But when matters seem important, speak up. Let others know. With so many ways to speak up, like a sign, a smile, a shout, if we could make things better, why not let our words come out? When a rule just isn't fair or has gotten much too old, speak up, work for change. Justice comes when we are bold. When a person wounds another with their words or with their fist, speak up, be an ally. Safety comes when we persist. If you see someone who's lonely or they're having a bad day, speak up, share a moment. Kindness goes a long, long way. When you're sad or packed with feelings and the world seems dark and gray, speak up, ask for help. Friendship chases clouds away. When trees and creatures suffer from our quick and careless choices, speak up, rally others. Nature needs our mindful voices. While some people speak up loudly and your words might whisper quiet, one voice can make a difference. So don't hesitate. Go try it. As we light the chalice this morning, may we remember the simple power of using our voices for good. If you're at home, I invite you to light your chalice or candle now. And Tim, could you please light the chalice on Alluvial Avenue? Let us rise now in body or spirit and join in singing our song of praise right here.
All we need all we need, all we need, all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here. The night was long, but the day is bright. Together we can lift our eyes to all we love and we hold dear, 'cause all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here. All we need, all we need, all we need is right here.
I invite us to remain standing as we say together the words of our mission statement. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated. I invite us to, just for a moment, feel the chair that's holding your body or the sofa at home, perhaps a kitchen stool on our virtual campus. And imagine yourself being held for just a moment, held up. A question, what is it that you can let go of for this time we're together? Just let it go and know you will be held. And so I invite us to take in a breath, breathing in peace. We hold a moment, we breathe out love. Again, we breathe in peace, we hold a moment, we breathe out love. One last time together, we breathe in peace, taking into every cell of our body, we hold, we breathe out love. As we continue breathing, allow that breath to carry us back over the last 7 days, the last week of living. Two questions. In the last week, was there a moment when you were unskillful in word or action? What intention would you like to carry with you through the next 7 days of your living? We carried with us the culmination of the week, the month, the year, filled with joys and sorrows, so many concerns, and hopefully so many gratitudes. This is just a little bit of what is alive within our congregation, either on our Alluvial Ave campus or our virtual campus, typed into the chat box or dropped in the small table at the entrance to the church. Debbie is so happy to celebrate their birthday on September 28th. So happy birthday, Debbie. Happy birthday. Andrea is feeling joyful that she is coming to church with her friend Lucille. So welcome to Lucille today. Wonderful to have you with us. Sally is feeling joyful that Napa has rain. Yay! Tristan K. on our virtual campus, close connection to Emily on our Alluvial campus. Tristan is feeling grateful to Miles, who is sleeping right now, and allowing Abby and I to join Emily in spirit from the virtual campus. Hi, Abby. Hi. And we have a big celebration for Nico, who is our sound tech, and Des, who is one of our care providers in the nursery. Nico and Des announced that they are expecting their second child. Eli will be a big brother in May 2023. We also want to remember our beloveds, those who are unable to be with us because of health or other concerns. Margaret H., Bev Fitzpatrick, who continues growing stronger in the Bay Area as she recovers from West Nile virus. We think of Denise S. on our virtual campus, Edith H., William H., Glenda R., Pat M., Brandon E., and Josephine, who is with us today. We still surround you with healing thoughts and prayers, Josephine. We also celebrate that this week we began Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month. This month, also quite seriously, is Death by Suicide Prevention Month. Have you checked in on someone today? We also grieve that West Virginia outlawed abortion except in a few extreme instances. We affirm bodily autonomy and safe and easy access to abortion, which is health care, and health care should not be denied to anyone. And so, for all that has been shared out loud, for everything that we hold in that sacred silence of our own hearts, and for all those who on this day have no one to remember them or to say their name with gentleness or love, we light our candle of community. By our remembering, may we and they be loved and blessed. We light our second candle, which burns for the over 6.52 million citizens of the world who have lost their lives in this ongoing pandemic, 1.05 million of whom are citizens of this country. And in the light of our candles, we again reconnect to our breath and our breathing. When we breathe in peace. We breathe out love.
When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I respiro paz. Cuando exhalo, exhalo amor. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Cuando respiro, respiro paz. Cuando exhalo, exhalo amor. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, without love. Cuando respiro paz. Cuando exhalo, exhalo amor.
Our words of prayer or reflection come from the Reverend Teresa Soto, who uses the personal pronouns they, them, theirs. Reverend Soto is the newly called Senior Minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oakland, California. They also serve as co-vice president of diverse revolutionary Unitarian Universalist multicultural ministries, a Unitarian Universalist people of color ministry, and anti-racist collective. Let us join together in prayer or reflection, the words of Reverend Soto. Bring your broken hallelujah here. Bring the large one that is beyond repair. Bring the small one that's too soft to share. Bring your broken hallelujah here. I know the people have told you before that you can give only when you have to get yourself together. They've overstated the value of perfection by a lot, or they forgot. You are the gift. We all bring some broken things, songs and dreams and long-lost hopes. But here and together, we reach within. As a community, we begin again. From the pieces, we will build something new. There is work that only you can do. We wait for you. Bring your broken hallelujah here.
I am in the semi-unique position of being an adult member of this congregation who happened to be raised in this very congregation. I was brought to this church at the age of 3 by my parents, Steve and Valerie. The story goes that I spent a good deal of time our first day talking with Bernadette Siegel, who lovingly engaged with toddler Emily. Later at home, I told my parents we needed to go back to church so that I could talk to that nice lady again. Huge thanks to Bernadette, wherever she may be in the mysteries of death, for hooking that little 3-year-old girl into such an amazing community which has shaped me as a person. Being raised as a Unitarian Universalist is to be raised with a strong set of values and to be empowered as an individual. Growing up, I felt deeply that I had a power that could be used for good. This feeling of my power expressed itself in 3 main ways. First, I always felt the power of myself as an individual with ideas that mattered. Even as a young child, I was listened to and loved unconditionally in this congregation. I can't tell you what a powerful experience that is. Imagine growing up surrounded by incredible people, truly incredible people, that value what you, even 6, 7, 8-year-old you, have to say. This congregation is full of accomplished social justice advocates, educators, social workers, artists, Peace Corps alumni, veterans, and so many more amazing individuals whose life stories could fill many a thrilling memoir. And yet I was never intimidated or made to feel that I should be seen and not heard. Quite the opposite. I relished in the experience of coming to church events because of how my cup was filled by so many wonderful people who paid attention to me and made me feel like I was extraordinary and that my thoughts had value. Feeling that my ideas mattered also helped me feel empowered by this church community to speak up. I always felt a strong sense of the power of my voice and that it could be used to make a difference. When I reflect back on the way I used that power of my voice as a child, I'm impressed with the boldness of that girl who was obviously so empowered by this community that helped instill a strong sense of values. As one short example, I remember passionately explaining to the most popular boy in 4th grade why gay was not an insult and should not be used as such. What a gift to have the confident voice of a young you. Finally, I was empowered by this community to put my values into action. I was always taught that I could make a difference to make the world a better place through ways large and small. Whether it was boycotting a brand, attending anti-war marches with other UUs, writing letters to the powers that be, or assembling holiday gift bags for incarcerated women, this church community taught me about the power I had to live out my Unitarian Universalist values in actions that made the world better. In college, I held internships with organizations that fought for change and ended up pursuing a career in education, largely because I believe in my power to help others and make positive change in that field. My gratitude for the ways this church community taught me about the power of my being has only deepened as I have grown into an adult, and I've realized all the ways I continue to feel empowered to use my ideas, my voice, and my actions to work for a more just and peaceful world every day. I'm unafraid to call out injustices in systems in which I live. This sometimes gets me into trouble at work when I break the chain of command, but I am proud of my ability to think critically and speak up when it matters. I've also seen the power of my actions, particularly in the social justice work I've been privileged to participate in over the years with our church. Finally, I appreciate being part of a church community that values critical thinking, individual voices, and taking action in the first place. My adult perspective has helped me realize how few other religious communities value these skills. It truly does set our congregation apart. Recently, I was having a conversation with another mother in this congregation who told a story about how her teenage daughter called out some racist thinking within her teen friend group. I was impressed and wondered aloud how I can make sure my kids will be equally thoughtful and bold when met with similar situations throughout their lives. I hope my kids grow up knowing that their ideas and their voices matter. Sorry. I hope they realize that they have the power to make a difference in the world and know how important it is that they do so. I'm confident that this church community will help me navigate raising my children to be empowered individuals and will continue to teach me lessons about my own power as I do the work of evolving into my best self. And for that, I am so, so grateful.
Thank you so much for your wisdom and experience. We're going to rise, embody or spirit, and sing one of my favorite Unitarian Universalist hymns, Wake Now My Senses.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep murmur of being in all. Keep with the creation your vow, giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason and now the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy learning and praise the sublime. Wake now my passion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the white sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a pitied place, and raises the whole human race. Wake now my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
Please be seated. Thank you, Bill. This past week was the annual Emmy Awards. Did anybody watch them? Okay, two. A little bit, and let me see on the virtual campus, I see, 7 hands on the virtual campus. That got me thinking about the power, what Emily was talking about, the power of theme songs from TV shows. Theme songs that give voice to the spirit of the show. Now, Lorenzo and I have a little pop quiz of some powerful theme songs from TV, and then we're going to toss in 2 movie theme songs at the end as well. Now, I have a confession. After I picked the songs and Lorenzo worked them up for the piano, I realized last evening that as a cisgendered white male, I had selected theme songs from shows that, for the most part, featured white people. I had centered whiteness in these theme songs at a time when we're trying to decenter whiteness and move voices from the margins to the center. So I apologize in advance, and I will try to do better being mindful of my own whiteness and unconscious bias. So, imperfect as it is, here is the 7-part quiz. When you hear the music, if you recognize, just call out the TV show or the film. You can shout at your screen at home, or you can type it into the chat box. This first one is probably going to be known just by the boomers and the Generation Xers. Number 1. Cheers, okay. My younger staff had no idea what Cheers was. Okay, this next one crosses generations. Number 2. Friends, somebody said Friends. Yep, Friends, okay. I didn't recognize that one as much, but good, Emily, you get a point. Okay, this one also crosses most generations. Number 3. B. Arthur. Golden Girls, okay, great. Okay. Now, most people have seen at least one iteration, that's a hint, of this next one. Number 4. Law. Oh, do it again. I just love that so much. Great. Woo. Grooving on Law and Order. This next one is going to be cherished primarily by millennials and Gen Z. Number 5. What is it? Power Rangers. Okay, these last 2 are theme songs of powerful movie franchises. The first one is Universal, number 6. Star Wars, of course. And our last one is probably going to be millennials and Gen Z only who are going to recognize this one, number 7. Harry Potter, okay. That's great. Give it up for Lorenzo. Thank you. And speaking for a moment of Harry Potter, unlike some of the churches here in Fresno who consider Harry Potter series sinful and satanic, we, as Unitarian Universalists, affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all Harry Potter books and films. But we decry the author's transphobia that has soiled her legacy. So I've been thinking about theme songs and how they can tell us so much about something, or in some way evoke the essence of something. In some ways, a theme song captures the unique power of something. Theme songs can be a voice. I think of 2 songs we've sung a lot since the beginning of the pandemic. We sang it then through the summer of racial reckoning into the time of the big lie beginning, and then the insurrection, and beyond into today. These 2 songs could be Unitarian Universalist theme songs of this moment. The first is There Is a Love, Elizabeth Norton's setting of a meditation written by the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, and I invite you to join me if you know it. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. The second song that we've sung a lot these days is We Shall Be Known by Carisha Longacre of Mamuse. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. Those really are quite wonderful theme songs for our time. But, dear ones, there is another hymn that holds the essence of both of those two that we just sang, but it holds so much more as well. There is a song that captures what it means to call oneself a Unitarian Universalist. Wake now my senses, the hymn we sang just before the start of the sermon. Wake now my senses could truly be the theme song of Unitarian Universalism. It was written by the Reverend Thomas Michelson, who wrote words to a traditional Irish melody. Now, Thomas Michelson was my ministerial mentor when I first began in ministry over 2 decades ago. Reverend Michelson wrote this hymn 30 years ago in 1992, but it is even more relevant than ever in our present complex and frightening circumstances. So, if you will permit me, I invite you to enter the song's lyrics. We begin with an exclamation, a spiritual alarm clock. Wake, the first word of the hymn. It's saying it's time to wake up and become aware that we are slumbering and we're missing out on something. So this wake is time sensitive. It's saying wake now. We don't have till tomorrow. We have to wake up now because there is something urgent and pressing. And what is urgent and pressing that we want to wake up? My senses. Could you all just say that with me? Wake now, my senses. What we're saying, and this is huge, that your senses, we're saying that the basis, the foundation of Unitarian Universalism is our ability, God's calling, our ability to perceive and experience. And that's what the transcendentalists like Henry David Thoreau and Margaret Fuller and Ralph Waldo Emerson taught us, that we with our senses can perceive the holy here and now. Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Now this is religiously radical. We're not saying wake now and hear angels sing. We're not saying wake now and hear the sound of the saints or the voice of God or goddess. We're not saying wake now and hear the Bible or other scriptures, but listen to earth herself. Unitarian Universalism is placing the source of our religion in a personal experience that is not coming from beyond, coming from a deity, from a divine realm, from heaven or another reality, but from here on this earth herself. Unitarian Universalism is a religion that begins by rooting us to the planet solidly here and now. Now, the next thing that this hymn calls us to do is to feel. Not to think, not to believe, but to feel. Feel what? Feel the deep power. There we go. Feel the deep power of being. The deep power of being. What is this deep power of being? It's the life force, the sheer magnitude of existence, of being part of the universe, of being the stuff of stardust. We as human beings inherit our power from the Big Bang and all life that grew from that burst of somethingness out of nothingness. Feel the deep power of being. Now, where is that power? Who has that power? What has that power? Feel the deep power of being in all. This life force, this spirit of life is universal. It's in everything. It's not some select group or some special subset. All of everything is part of the great cosmic oneness that we have the ability to feel and connect to. What Ralph Waldo Emerson called the soul of the whole. So Unitarian Universalism begins not with a book or a spiritual teacher or a leader. Unitarian Universalism begins with, as one of our sources states, the direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to a renewal of spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. Unitarian Universalism is anchored not just in a direct experience of wonder and mystery, but it's anchored in your direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder. You are the starting point of Unitarian Universalism. And that's reflected in our first principle as we affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, including yourself. Give yourselves a round of applause. But it doesn't stop there. It's not just about you. It's about something greater than you. And that's why the next words are keep with the web of creation, the web of creation. This is referring to the seventh of our 8 principles. We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence, not just some existence or the existence that agrees with us, but all existence of which we are a part. We are part of a vast, interconnected web of all existence. We are connected to everything, which means we are responsible for the most vulnerable parts of that web. It calls us to ask, who are the most vulnerable parts of that interconnection? What are the most vulnerable parts? We have responsibility to all living things that share this earth home with us. And not just the living things. We have a responsibility to the planet itself. The fate of the planet is part of our religious mission as Unitarian Universalists. Because of this, we are going to make a promise. We're going to make a commitment. Keep with the web of creation your vow. If we could get, there we go. What's our vow? Our promise to this interwoven magnitude of life involves giving and receiving. There is a reciprocity in life. We live in relationship with that to which we are part of in that web of creation. So we give to it, but we also receive it. The universe, the spirit of life gives back to us. And how do we learn to give and receive? Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Love. Love is what shows us how to live as Unitarian Universalists. Not God, not the Bible or Scripture. We may have God as part of our big picture. The Bible may be really important to us, or other scriptures, but we say that the foundation of it all as Unitarian Universalists is the practice of embodied love, a human-based and human-focused ethic of love that calls us into right relationship with each other and with the world. As Reverend Susan Frederick Gray says, no one should be outside the circle of love. But we need more than love. We need more than our heart. We need our head and our mind. And that causes us to need to wake something else up within us. And that's why we then sing, "Wake now my reason." Wake now my reason. Is somebody willing to just shout out a definition of reason? What is reason? Anybody? Logical thought? Anybody else? Reason? Any tries? Okay. I say reason is really our ability to determine things for ourselves by using our brain. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't check our brain at the door. We don't check our questions or our doubts or our ever-changing answers at the door and come in to be spoon-fed something that somebody else has figured out. We invite your discernment, your ability to think for yourself. So we wake our reason. And why do we want that to happen? So we can reach out to the new. This is so important. We don't first reach to the past. That's the main difference between conservative religion and progressive and liberal religion. Conservative religion reaches back to a past that never really existed, but it's held up as something beautiful that we need to return to, but returning to something that never really existed because it wasn't really that beautiful for anybody but a few select few and left everybody else out. Liberal and progressive religion reaches into the future. We believe the world as we envision it has never existed, and it's our job to build it, to create it, to construct it sometime for the future. And how do we do this? How do we do this mighty task of creating for the future? We join with each pilgrim who quests for the true, as we're not alone in our spiritual journey or our search, our life journey. There are others who share similar values that are true and authentic, that are not make-believe or wishful thinking. We're in this together. But we're not only just about the new. We say that Unitarian Universalism is a living tradition. Living, it means it's growing and evolving over time. And we believe that our thinking and our beliefs changing over time is a sign of spiritual depth, but we also have deep roots in history that have shaped us over time into who we are today. And that is why we honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. I think of our own Sam Zutler, 99 years old and planning his 100th birthday party for February. There is great beauty and wisdom in him. I think of so many of you who are sages, pillars, crones, wise ones. I think of some of our oldest and longest members like Linda Mack and Gay Amond and so many others. We honor the beauty and wisdom of your time, just as we honor the beauty and the wisdom of our spiritual Unitarian and Universalist ancestors from the past. We have roots that reach deep, and that gives us a strength to suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. What does that mean? These words name and claim the cycle of life, the birth, the life, the death, the rebirth. Unitarian Universalism doesn't deny pain and suffering and eventual death, but there is such richness and joy in our life journey. Unitarian Universalism accepts both aspects of life. It doesn't work to escape the pain, suffering, and ultimate end of our life, but the realities of our pain and our ultimate death allow us to savor and cherish the sublime aspects of life. Joy is the gift of life. Grief is the price we pay for life. The next thing that we need to wake is compassion. Compassion. Why? So that we can give heed to the cry, because voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Voices of suffering fill this valley. Voices of suffering fill the hills around us. And they are not just the voices of people we know, they are voices of people we don't know, who we may consider a stranger, people who are different from us, and we must move beyond differences to heed the cry of suffering. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend. As Valerie Carr says, we center compassion in our lives when we see no stranger. We bear a responsibility to and for them, praying and striving their hardship to end. Now, I know that some of us don't like the word praying, so we can insert something that does resonate, such as hoping. But whatever word you use, Unitarian Universalism is more than just thoughts and prayers. That's what politicians do when there's another mass shooting. They have thoughts and prayers, but they do nothing. Unitarian Universalism demands skin in the game. It demands hands working, not just talking and thinking. We must strive while working to bring people's hardship to end. Strive to bring hardship to end. And that leads us to wake now my conscience. What is a conscience? A conscience is your ability to know the difference from right or wrong because you're a human being, not because somebody wrote it in a book and gave us 10 commandments that define good and bad. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that that's coded within us in our human nature. Just because we're human, we have this warning bell that tells us something is not right. And so, wake now my conscience with justice, thy guide. We are going to use the guidance of justice to do something, and that is join with all people whose rights are denied. Justice. That's why the fourth part of our mission statement is work for justice, trabajar por la justicia. Justice is more than equality. It's equity for those long denied equality. Those who currently have less need more than those who have always had. Cornel West says, justice is what love looks like in public. As Dr. Martin Luther King defined it, justice is giving persons what they are due. Author Urej Joshi quotes Bayard Rustin, the architect of the famous 1963 March on Washington, who said, "Social peace cannot exist in a vacuum. It is the byproduct of justice obtained." Unitarian Universalism works so others obtain justice. And then we get a stern warning for some of us. Take not for granted a privileged place. Let's unpack that. Some of us, many of us, enjoy the benefits of privilege. For some of us, it's white privilege. Perhaps it's cis male privilege. We've got that, Bill. and there's many others. Unitarian Universalism calls us to look at our own background, our own racial identity, our own economic situation, and it calls us to own the ways we have been given an advantage by the exploitation of others. I know a lot of people don't like hearing that. I'm going to give you an example that I've shared before. When I was attending Harvard University, I was granted an award from the Divinity School. It was the oldest financial award that exists in the country. It was the first one that was ever founded. It dates back to the founding of Harvard in 1636. That's 386 years ago. But I later learned that that financial award was funded by the selling and enslavement of black people. How am I called to address and make reparations for the very education that allows me to serve here as your minister? Take not for granted a privileged place. Our love embraces the whole human race. That's universalism in a nutshell. You saying that all are worthy of love, all will be welcomed back into the love from whence they came. We work towards creating that reality, not in the afterlife, but in this life. One more verse. Hang in there. We're going to bring it home. I think some of you have got to wake up. And the thing that we're going to wake up next is our vision. We wake our vision in order to claim our call to minister to each other and our beautiful and broken word, wake now my vision of ministry clear. There we go. See, in Unitarian Universalism, ours is a shared ministry. It's not just about the minister doing the work. All of us are empowered to shape the beloved community. Wake now my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Unitarian Universalism teaches that there is a light to guide us. It is an inner light, but it's also a light that's among us. It's also, for many of us, a light that's beyond us. There is an illumination that shows the way forward. We don't need to stumble on our own in confusion. That light comes from our senses, our reason, our conscience, and our compassion. And it is found, as it says, on radiance here. It's found here, right now, not in some afterlife. That light exists here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. We don't have to do any of this alone. We're not called to do life alone, to do religion alone, to create a world that loves more fully alone. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. The last line, thank God, somebody says. The last line of this hymn is the summation of the song, but also the summation of the call of Unitarian Universalism. Work towards a planet transformed by our care. Work towards a planet transformed by our caring attitude and actions. And so, wake now our senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. I invite you to listen to this song as Lorenzo sings it as a solo, allowing all we've explored to inform not just Lorenzo's performance, but how we receive the words. Wake now our senses. And Nico, we are ready for the microphone.
senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow, giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now, my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now, my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. Our love embraces the whole human race. Wake now, my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
As a reminder, my name is Emily Kaisinga, and I'm your worship associate this morning. As I have shared, this church community has given me so much over the years and has provided such a sanctuary, particularly recently as I've grappled with the events happening in our world as a resident of the Central Valley. I treasure this community, and I'm so glad that song was such an important part of our sermon today, because when I think of what I get from being a member of the church, I thought of the lyrics to one of my favorite hymns, Come Sing a Song With Me. For those unfamiliar, and feel free, I think Tim has made me feel confident that I could even sing this. Feel free to join in. Come sing a song with me that I might know your mind, and I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find, and I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. I think I overestimated my soprano there. This community gives me so much hope for what the world could be and for what it already is whenever I need it most, as I'm surrounded by so many wonderful humans who genuinely want to know my mind and are role models for who I want to be when I grow up. The work of our church community has expanded during the pandemic as we now support 2 church campuses. The work of being one congregation in many places cannot be sustained without our collective support. Most of us make a yearly pledge of support and send our checks in the mail or use our bank's electronic funds transfer process, but we also hold an offertory every Sunday morning to remind each other that we are all expected to support our church in some way as our circumstances allow. If you are able and feel called to help ensure the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno continues operating strongly, please join me in donating this morning. It is one way we can use the power of our actions. Every little bit matters. In this spirit, please join me in our words of offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Here is a slideshow showing how you can make a financial contribution right now on our virtual campus, or if you're on the Alluvial Avenue campus, you can always drop cash, a check, or a diamond necklace into the basket on your way out of the sanctuary. Or you can share generously right this moment by using Cash App. Just send your contribution to $UU Fresno. That's $UU Fresno. May this church continue to be worthy of the many different forms of our gifts. The morning offering will now be greatly received. Thank you for your powerful generosity. So I want to take a moment just to appreciate what a joy it is to be back on the Alluvial Avenue campus with all of you this morning, and also to acknowledge the incredible work of so many people who helped realize the vision of one congregation in many places, which has allowed people, including myself, to stay connected to the church community through the worst of the pandemic, and still today, whether near or far. I always leave our in-person and virtual services re-energized and re-inspired. It has been such a gift being with you this morning. Thank you for joining us in our exploration of the deep power of being. As we prepare to end our service and enter into our afternoon, please join us in our chalice extinguishing words led by Karen and Troy.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Here is a wave to everyone on our virtual campus, especially my family, and those watching later on Facebook or YouTube, something I have certainly taken advantage of on those days when parenting interferes with our 10:30 service. We love you and cherish you. Tim, I believe you have some reminders before our closing word.
I do, Emily, but let me just thank you for your spiritual guidance and leadership during this time. Not just today, but throughout this time of pandemic, you have been part of our virtual worship arts team, and we have been blessed with your wisdom and your vulnerability. So please appreciate Emily. So for folks who are new or newish, Patty Bennett is our member services coordinator. It is her great joy, as well as her job, to serve you gratefully. Her job is to get newer folks connected. So if you have questions about the congregation after the service, please talk with Patty. Here are those quick reminders. Besides reminding you who Patty is, coffee hour in the cloudy outside. I feel like I'm in Seattle when I look outside today. It's so overcast. Hi to my family in Seattle, by the way. Coffee hour is outside. There's a welcome and a question and answer table with a member of our board of trustees. That's set up. So if you're new or newish, there's somebody that you can talk to out there. And Karen has joining us from our virtual campus with a 1-minute enticement of 2 different things that will be happening after the service today. Take it away, Karen.
Hello, dear friends. Karen Polnitz here. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I serve gratefully as your Director of Lifelong Learning. I'm here today to invite you to 2 special opportunities taking place on campus after service today. The first is geared towards our newcomers and new visitors, and that is the Exploring Your Spiritual Journey course with Reverend Tim and Patty Bennett, our coordinator of congregational life, a chance for you to explore what it might mean to walk your own spiritual path within this community of Unitarian Universalism. The second is an opportunity geared towards our families, a chance to build connections, support one another, and for us as your religious exploration team to find out how we can best serve our family needs within our UU Fresno community. So please stop by the sanctuary after service if you'd like to join the Exploring Your Spiritual Journey course. And if you'd like to build family connections with us, we'll be at the picnic tables right outside the classroom after service. Hope you have a beautiful day. See you later.
Thank you, Karen. And for folks who are interested in that Exploring Your Spiritual Journey for newcomers, you can do it either on campus, but also will be joined on Zoom, so it will be a hybrid platform opportunity. Last but not least, as the lights try to come back on, we have a tradition, and they're not going to. There we go. It's a light show. Disco, John Travolta. So if this is your first, second, or third time in the sanctuary with the disco lights, we like to gently and disco-ly welcome you because we're really glad that you are here on this cloudy and disco ball day. So if this is your first, second, or third time, if you would stand for just a moment so we know that you are here, then we will gently be able to welcome you after the service. Welcome back. Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome. I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them and let us join hands for our closing words and our sung benediction. If you came in a pod, you can join hands. If you came on your own, place your hands over your beautiful heart. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. Take your love from this place, share it with the world. Stay safe until we meet again. And may the longtime sun shine upon you. All love surrounds you. And that pure light that is within you guide your way on. Blessed be. Amen.
Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. In love, go in peace.
Shalom and assalamu alaikum.